3. D. Fahy had returned a motor car previously purchased on credit from a supplier for $12,000 and entered this transaction in the relevant accounts incorrectly as $1,200. I'm going to explain the right thing that you should do first. If that were to happen and you're to be allowed the full value for the returns, I returned a motor car that I previously bought. That's purchases returns, because remember my business, I'm trading in cars, I'm a garage owner. So really that is stock. So if I return to a creditor, I debit the creditor, the correct entry, debit the creditor with $12,000 and credit purchases returns with $12,000. If that's all that happened, that would be correct entry. So that would be the right thing to do. Now, however, I'm going to show you what he did. So what we did, or what he did, was he opened up his purchases returns account and his creditors account, and instead of putting 12,000, he put 1,200 on the credit side of purchases returns and on the debit side of the creditor. Now a credit note subsequently arrived from a supplier showing a restocking charge of 200 to cover the cost of the return. If that were to happen, I would just add back 200 onto creditors and onto purchases, and add back 200 onto creditors. However, what we did was the only entry made in respect of this credit note was a credit entry of 11,800 in the creditor's account. We put 11,800 in the creditor's account. Every debit doesn't have a corresponding credit, so my trial balance wouldn't add up. So I entered the difference in a suspense account. So that's where the 11,800. So that's what we did. Now we need to correct those mistakes. So to correct those mistakes, you could take all of those entries out and start again if you felt that was the best thing to do. You could literally take them all out and start again. So that's what I think I will do there. Take out the 1,200 there, debit purchases returns. Take out the 1,200, that one. So we've those two gone. The 11,800, debit there with 11,800 and credit suspense 11,800. I have wiped everything clean. Now do the right thing. The purchases returns, if I return goods, I should credit purchases returns and debit the creditor. But in this case, not with 12,000, with 12,000 minus 200, so that's 11,800. So I need to credit purchases returns with 11,800, and I need to debit the creditor with 11,800. I am now going to show you the journal entries for those, and we're just going to net those figures. My creditors are debited with 22,400. If you add up my creditors there, 8 and 8, 16, that's 23,600 minus 1,200 is 22,400. So that gives you a debit of 22,400. My purchases returns are credited with 10,600. It's 11,800 minus 1,200. That's 10,600. And my suspense is credited with 11,800. And so the corrections are in red, and they're the figures that you use for your journal entries. Being the correction of purchases returns and subsequent restocking charge entered incorrectly.